The other tank I wanted to show you, let's see if it's even in the client. Yes, it is the M4A1 Revalorise. Right now, it's got the 105 millimeter gun. It's got, well, there's your 63.5 points of armor. So the seemingly weak spot here, the machine gun turret, is actually the strong spot on the front armor. The rest of the armor is 50, but it's well sloped. So looking at the armor inspector, if you fire at this point of slightly tougher armor, it holds at 63, but if you fire off of it, it's 72.7. So the sloping gives you a lot better armor protection. So even though this is a thicker piece of armor, because of it lacks the sloping, it actually is a weak spot. .44. Oh, wait a second. And those cheek pieces are 63. 44. It's the top of the turret. 38. That's the sides. And that cupola. 35. 34. Now that's going to be a difficult place to hit, even if you do have a shot at the side. If you hit here, it's going to be 54 points of armor. If you hit here, it's going to be 36. So you might as well just aim at the sides. 31, that's in there. That would be a difficult shot. 25, that's the top, and this bustle. So if you get behind this thing, don't shoot at the engine for 38. Shoot, if you can, at this weak spot. Well, depending on the angle. I mean, if you're up like this, I wouldn't recommend shooting at it. It's getting to be pretty thick. But if you're shorter than this is, you're shooting up. It's probably a pretty good idea. Well, treads are the standard 20 points. 19. And the spaced armor, 89. And the lower section is 50. 38, there's some spaced armor right there. At 25, that's that collar. So this is not a well-armored tank. It's the same, my advice still holds. Treat this thing as you would a tank destroyer. A lightly armored tank destroyer, sort of like a Tier 8 Hellcat. It's fast, it's fairly maneuverable. The armor will protect you against some things, but only if it's fairly well angled. Like if you fire it at this angle, then you start getting into 100 millimeters. If you can really angle it, and then you start getting, if you get anything over 70 degrees, it's an automatic ricochet, unless the armor is completely overmatched. But that would take a 152 millimeter gun. I think at 70 millimeters you're still going to ricochet. I'd have to check the wiki for that exactly. But don't depend on your armor to keep out anything other than some HE splash. If anything that you're going to see in a Tier 8 machine, and this is definitely a Tier 8, is going to just punch a hole right through you. I don't know if the new self-propelled guns are in or not. No, they're not yet. So you've got the Tier 6 Czechoslovakian, and then you've got the Tier 8 French medium. And while it's a little better armored than the CDC, I'd want to do some testing to see how the gun handling is. The CDC's 90mm is pretty formidable, but this has even thinner armor than the Sherman. It's more heavily sloped, so a shot straight in is only 40mm of armor, and that's against anything you're going to be facing in Tier 8. Even if it's a low-tier scout, it's just going to punch holes in you. So watch out for yourself in this tank and in the Revalorise. Revalorise. I apologize to anybody who is fluent in French. I'm not. So, hope this information is useful to you, and enjoy. The next tank is the new premium French M4A1 Revalorise. It's basically a Sherman, but it's got this 105mm gun. Now, the 105, I'm comparing it to the Tier 705 French. It's a Tier 8 105, and the Tier 8 French 100mm, which are already in the game. It's a bit slower than the Tier 7 105. It does more damage, although not as much as the 100mm. Or so, I should say, it's got lower penetration than the French 100mm. The damage is slightly better than either the Tier 7 105 or the Tier 8 100. Dispersion's roughly between the two. Aim time's roughly between the two. The difference is it fires as standard APCR ammunition, and its premium is heat, and also has an HE round. So this tank, basically, because it's still got the Sherman's hull and armor, that this probably should be treated as you would a tank destroyer, even though technically, if you take a look at it, it says it's a medium tank, but it should probably be treated as a tank destroyer. Now, because it's based on the Sherman, you can mount a vertical stabilizer. So I've got gun rammer, vents, and a vertical stabilizer on it. I don't have camouflage paint or anything like that. I figure I'd just run without and see what it can do. Shell damage is pretty good. The APCR is about do 390, which is I think equivalent to the 122mm on the Su-85. Let's go take a look. Su-122 is the premium Russian tank destroyer. Yeah, penetration is fairly comparable. The 105 has a slower rate of fire. It's got much better penetration. It's got roughly the same damage, although the high explosive round doesn't cause as much damage. Better dispersion, better aiming time, roughly equivalent weight. So this one, as I said, probably treated more as a turreted tank destroyer than as a medium tank, because it's still got a tier 5 medium tank gun hull, but it's mounting a tier 8 gun. So let's take a look at a little gameplay. Himmelsdorf again, and there aren't too many of these Shermans. Most of the people are playing tier 10s, which is the other thing you run into in the server. You know, you get a lot of people who will just jump up to a tier 10 that interests them and spam lots of premium ammunition.
Let's go!
That's probably one of the more similar vehicles to this one in its effectiveness. Big gun, not a lot of armor. Okay, and there's one of the new Centurion Action X's. So 8. Better team score. 9,000. All in all, not a bad tank. I mean, it does not show itself well in this on the test server, as I said, because you're going to have a lot of people playing tier 10s and everybody's just going to be spamming premium ammunition. I mean, when you get on the test server, they give you 100 million free experience. They give you almost 100 million credits and about 50,000 gold. And as you can see, I've moved my way up so I could get these 2 tanks to take a look at. But that's part of the fun of the test server. I mean, if you want to see what a T10 operates, you know, you start where you are. You just, you know, you've got 100 million experience points. You just pick out the ones that you want to play with. You just pick your way up. For example, I wanted to see what the Russian artillery was like, so I made it all the way up to tier 10 on the Russian artillery, and played a few games in that. And I found out that there are people on the Russian server who are very good at counter battery fire, even if you move. You know, they know the places where you hide. So that's the other thing you're going to run into. You're going to run into a lot of people who are very, very good at playing World of Tanks. So you're going to die a lot, unless you yourself are very, very good. And as you can see, the 13,000 people, and this is 10 o'clock in the morning in the United States, so that's pretty, these are people who are up pretty late at night. Sorry, it's not pretty late at night, it's 8 p.m. on a Friday, so yeah, there's going to be a lot of people out there who are the ones who are pretty good with the tanks. But let's take a look at the British tanks. See if that Action X is a premium or is. Look at the tech tree. That may be the. That's British. Oh boy. Yeah, it looks like that one is the top 10. Now what I'm talking about in eliting something is, for example, I'll go to the Cromwell, elite the Comet, or elite it and get the Comet, buy it. In this case, buy a slot in the garage, purchase it without a crew, click on that. What do I need? I need to get the upgrade that, but I don't have to buy it. Upgrade that and get to the Centurion. I don't think, no, I don't even need to buy the Centurion. I just need to XP my way up. The Centurion 7. And then go ahead and buy a crew, buy a garage slot. And that's the new Centurion 10, the AX. So it's got the standard L7 105. And that's part of the fun of the test server. You can just get on here and buy your way to any tank you want. Now, as you saw, doing that, going from tier 6 to tier 10, put a fairly big dent in my credits, but it didn't hurt my free XP too much. And most of it is because the tier 10s are about $6 million credits a piece. So, but you know, that's part of the fun of the test server. If you always want to drive around in a T49 with that 152 millimeter derp gun, you know, you can do it on a test server. But since I bought it, let's go ahead. Now, the thing you have to understand is nothing that you buy on the test server carries over. I had a couple of tier 9s on the previous test server, and they were all gone. Just what you actually have in your garage in the standard client is what carries over. And if some of the premiums that you have been removed from the game, don't sweat it. You know, they are only missing here because you can't get them anymore. If you've got them already, they're not going to take them away from you in the real game, but you won't see them here. Alright. This has HESH and has heat. It's interesting. Standards, they call it, you know, it's APCR. Now, normally I run with a small first aid kit, small repair kit, fire extinguisher. But in this particular case, I'm going to try something a little different. Now, this is probably going to be hilariously fail-ridden. I'm not that great at tanks. I just bought a tier 10. I'll add a gun rammer to it. I don't know if it allows, yeah, vertical stabilizer. And vents. This is probably going to be an absolute and utter failure. So, you know, you get to watch me fail again. That's okay. You get to see how this thing performs in the hand of an absolute amateur, which is probably closer to how you'll operate with it the first couple of times you play it. So let's see what happens. Standard battle on Miravanka, mostly tier 10s. A lot of the Centurions. thought I was a bad driver.
That one didn't go
Okay. I bought the premium shells for a reason. Nope. Switch back to standard. You don't have any artillery.
Get out!
Not great, but not bad. Couple of assists, one kill. Not a lot of damage. 68 points. Did better than some of the other players, mainly because I got that assistance, so mostly scouting. Now that's pretty expensive for repairs, and this was just firing standard ammunition. So you're going to lose money on playing tier 10s. But frankly, as awful a player as I am, if you only lose 12,000, that's not too bad. I can understand why people say they lose, 50, 70, 80. That's because you're spamming a lot of premium. But this isn't too bad a tank. Well, 53 miles an hour top speed, 50 degrees per second traverse, 48 degrees per second hull or turret traverse. That's not too bad. View range 410. It's very good. Good signal range. The gun is very good. Fairly fast firing. Good penetration. A lot of damage. Good aim time. So, all in all, this is a pretty serviceable tank. As I said, this one is the best thing you can do is treat it as a tank destroyer, because it's got a gun that is almost equivalent of the Centurion, but it's a little slower firing, and it's on a tier 5 tank hull. And the Czech is a pretty serviceable medium tank, and it's got a good gun that's roughly equivalent of the short German 88. So all in all, I like the look of this. Now the other thing that's happening on the test server, and you're going to have some low tier tanks to use it, is this new proving ground. And you'll see it says not suitable, not suitable. This is mainly for training your Tier 1s and Tier 2s. So let's see. See what we got in the... This is the new tank destroyer that's going to replace the T-82. You've got your choice of standard 37mm gun, or it can come with the 2-pounder. Now that's not the top 2-pounder, which has the Little John adapter, or you can use the 75mm howitzer, which is the same weapon as on the existing T-82. And it then goes up to this, which replaces the T-82. It's got a 57mm gun, or you can have the 3-inch gun, the derp gun. And those two are going to replace the T-18 and the T-82. The T-18 and the T-82 are now going to be mobile artillery. So you've got a 75mm howitzer on the T-18, and you have a 105 choice of 105s on the T-82. I kind of liked the armor on the T-18, so we'll try that a little later. But for the moment, let's take a look. Let's take the T-3 out. We've got it armed with a 75mm howitzer. And we'll see what we can see. Now on my lower tier tanks, I pick the large first aid kit and the large repair kit, not because I intend to repair everything, but you'll see down here where it says permanent plus 10 to the speed of module repairs. So basically, I'm using those like I would use a toolkit, or like I would use a small liner. It's a permanent addition to the tank. Now, this is interesting because this was the crew I had in the T-18, I believe. So, because I haven't played this yet. So they're probably going to be taking your T-18 and your T-82 crew and putting them in here. Interesting. Let's accept that. I don't think I need with the 75. Okay, you can't mount a gun rammer. Coated optics are usually good. You can't mount vents. The speed, aiming speed, it doesn't really require anything, so you might want to try your binocular telescopes, but let's take this thing out. It doesn't have the armor of the T-18, so the proving ground is 10 of you against 15 bots. The bots, the first time I played this, the bots absolutely mitten guard. The first time I played it, it was on mine, so they obviously haven't changed the selection of maps.
Time to roll out.
Here they come. As you can see, against experienced players, the bots really don't have a prayer. Against scrubs like me, they do pretty good. And even I managed to get a kill. And you'll see, you have fought 10 battles. From now on, you will not earn credits, experience, or rewards in the Proving Ground mode. All subsequent battles fought in this mode will not affect your statistics. So, I got a kill. Critical hit on that one. Tracked him. Oh, I thought there were more than 7 of us. Okay, it evidently doesn't tell you how well the bots did. Yeah, the guy in the Tetrarch absolutely cleaned up. Okay, I don't know if that's standard, so maybe all you have to do is pay for your ammunition. You won't earn credits or experience, so this time I earned some. Oh, that's because somebody shot me. So normally you would just lose money on this. Okay, that's the new T3, that's the tank destroyer. And I don't know if the tank itself is sluggish or if it's because I've got such a high ping because I'm playing on the test server. I usually have a ping of about, this time I've got about 200. I normally have on the realm of about 17. So I'm curious. I've got a couple of light tanks. Just curious to see